In this video, we're going to show you the actual building of the folding plate assembly. Again, these are the parts that come with the kit for the folding plate assembly. If your handles are built, if you've already done that or someone's done it for you, these parts are replaced by your handles. And if you did the handles, you are about halfway through the completion of the folding plate assembly. What we show you in this video, we encourage people to do it. It's actually a fit check. You should do this prior to painting your hinges, especially if you're going to be having these parts powder coated. Okay, some of your parts might look slightly different depending on the version of your folding plate assembly that you receive, but the guiding item is the drawing. The drawing has the exact illustrations. In fact, this is what the parts are made to. These are what we pull. Let's go ahead and take a look at this in a little bit more detail. The drawing is multiple sheets showing different views of the folding plate assembly. Each view includes item numbers showing the part numbers that go into the assembly. This is the top view, this is the bottom view. Anytime you have to make or modify a part, like let's take for example the seat tracks. You receive a seat track that looks like this. You're going to be making a couple cuts as dimensioned in the drawing and drilling an additional hole to come up with the part that's actually used on the folding plate assembly. Similar with the handles. When you build up your handles, illustrates each of the items that go into the handles. You may have your handles already built by now, but what I'd like to talk about is the two last pages, the bill of materials and the kit packing list. The bill of materials includes the item number that goes into the assembly, where the packing list is what we actually pull from stock. In a lot of cases, it's a direct one-to-one. Like let's say, for example, all the fasteners. It's the same part number here as it is over here. Let's say going back to the seat tracks. To control inventory, this has a unique part number. After you go ahead and cut it, as described earlier, it's going to have a different part number. Okay. Seat, pardon me, the hinge parts. You receive one rack. It has one unique part number, but when you cut it, it's going to have 4 unique part numbers. These are the tools you're going to need to build the folding plate assembly. Hacksaw for cutting seat tracks, also the hinge plates, but actually for the hinge plates, separating the 4 hinge plates from each rack, I prefer a Dremel tool with a cutting wheel. Putting things together, you're going to need some metric sockets, a couple metric open-end wrenches, and also metric Allen wrenches. For the 2 holes you need to drill, just a 3/8 inch, 0.375 inch drill bit. Most people don't have metric drill bits, and there's no need for that. Hammer center punch for marking the hole you're going to drill. Measuring scale. Also a build sander or some type of a grinder comes in very handy for cleaning up your hinge plates and also your seat tracks. Before we begin sawing away on our hinge parts, let me explain something. There's a set of tabs that we need to remove. We're going to be removing the tabs that join each of the 4 sections. Okay, so these real thin sections here. The sections in here are actually part of the hinge plate. We don't want to remove these. Okay, so here's the tabs that we're going to be removing. Also, there's short tabs that protrude out from the end of each of these. Okay, we want to remove those. What these are for, okay, the tabs here join the 4 sections together. The tabs here serve as kind of like a register where we can line up our brake when we bend our rack of 4 parts. That way it assures the quality of the bend or the location of the bend, and it reduces the cost for everybody. Okay, so let's get cutting, and again, remove these tabs and these tabs, but this area right in here, we want to keep that section. That's actually part of the hinge plate. Okay, time to saw. I finished the 8 hinge parts. I went ahead and broke the edge all the way around. I did not round it. Just breaking the edge works out fine. A lot of these parts are going to be mated together flush. It took me about an hour to cut these, to separate them, and to go ahead and clean them up on the belt sander. I went through 3 or 4 of these cutoff saw wheels in doing so. Okay, a couple of the parts, you will notice that there is a boss welded in place. You'll see some discoloration from the TIG welding process. I would not worry about that. These parts are going to be primed and painted, or in some cases some of you will be powder coating them. What this feature's for is just to reinforce the area where the indexing pin threads in. Okay, so that locks the car either when it's unfolded in the driving position or when it's folded. You'll see that in some later videos. Okay, I consider these hinges, they are done. So we're ready for our next step. Taking a look at the seat tracks, as we mentioned earlier, let's go look at our drawing. Again, we're going to cut these to length, cut off each end, and we're going to drill one hole. Let's go ahead and do so. Okay, our seat tracks are finished. They're cut to length, and the extra hole is drilled. One thing I didn't show you was I went back with the larger bit and broke the edge just in the hole we drilled on both sides. Okay, our seat tracks are done, our hinge plates are done, and our handles are done. So now we're going to fit everything together. Turn to sheet 2 of your drawing, which shows the folding plate assembly upside down is the best way to put it together, and just fit all the pieces together. Okay, our folding plate assembly is fully bolted together. Less paint. Keep in mind we're going to have to disassemble this once we are confident that everything fits as expected. There's no interferences. We got everything cut to the proper length. But we're going to have to disassemble it and apply paint to our hinges, to the ends of our saw cut and drilled holes. But this is a good chance to show you how the folding plate assembly works. Okay, the seat's going to slide on through here. This is the front of the car. This is the back of the car. Point is, you want to also make sure that your edges here they're a little rounded. That way it makes it a little easier to slide the seat on. Okay, let me explain how this works. Okay, when the car unfolds, it's the two shoulder bolts. Keep in mind this shoulder bolt is sliding within a track on the inner two plates, or what I should say a slot. Once it hits the bottom of that slot, like right there, the car's not going to unfold any further. Okay, if we put our indexing pin in place, okay, same thing on the other side, that keeps it from folding back up when you're handling the car. Okay, one thing if you may recall from a prior video is when the car is actually folded up and you want to lock it in place, we're going to need to drill another hole. We're going to wait until we have the limbs installed and the car fully assembled. And everything's all painted up. We're going to remove this remove this indexing pin and match drill a hole in through these two plates and then reinstall the indexing pin. The reason we don't laser cut that hole in these two plates is because your limbs might be slightly different than ours. And if you match drill it, it will not be an issue. That way, if your car is fully folded at this position, you're going to be able to lock this pin in place, and the same on this side. So anyway, that's our assembly. If you get to this point, you should feel pretty good. And thank you for watching. See you in our next video. Bye now.